So the important thing is to be aware of certain basic things. The clarity of thought is a very, very elusive thing. As much as we like to be clear about things or be objective about things, it's not always easy because many times sentiment can cloud judgment. எங்கள் குரு இப்படி தான் சொல்லி கொடுத்துருக்கார் சார், அது தப்பாக இருந்தால் கூட வந்து அவர் அவர் பாடியிருக்கார், அப்படி நான் எப்படி வந்து இப்படின்ற ஒரு சென்டிமெண்ட்லாம் நிறைய தரம் வரதுக்கு சான்ஸ் இருக்குது. ஸோ okay, the main thing is we have to still balance out all these things. Now let's start from the fundamental level. I'll just address a few things, then I'm going to throw the floor open to all of you. A lot of students are here, musicians, musicologists, everybody. I'm sure that you will all have a lot of issues to talk about. Whatever is possible, I'll discuss here. Now, the way Carnatic music generally starts in everybody's house when a small child learns, sa pa sa, the ritual of sa pa sa. Especially it is much more in the non-Indian circles, the NRI parents, even those who might not have learned music initially, but they get so passionate about music once they migrate there, and they make a point to teach many of their children. And so they might not have learned so much, but every day they'll make a point. Once their kid practices, did you finish sa pa sa? Abdina kepa. The kid will have forgotten to sing sa pa sa, so the kid will go back, turn the tambour on, sa pa sa, kind of thing, then he'll come back, yes, I finished sa pa sa. So the sa pa sa has become a big ritual in music. So because it's like just a high-bye relationship with the sa pa sa, even after about 30-40 years, the Carnatic musician is often afraid of sa pa sa. That's because we don't spend time. It's like getting to know a note is like getting to know a person. We have to spend time with that note. We have to spend a lot of time. We have to really, it's like, when we go to school or an office or something, we probably go there for 10 years. We see the same security staff and others. We see them every day. So we see them for 10 years, but do we know enough about them unless we have actually spent time talking to them? We would have seen them for 10 years, but just 10 years with them doesn't really mean that we know anything about them. Whereas there may be some other friends whom we would have just barely known for a few months, but we would know much more about them. So like that, it's a relationship with every note. So that sa pa sa should not be a ritual from start. It's very important for the students to be able to really start spending time on that basic thing. Sa, sa. We have to start spending time on it to start getting to see whether it's first hitting the note, whether the tone is coming nicely, whether the tone is audible to us, whether that we are able to give a lot of carve in that note. All these aspects have to be really done. So, the ritualistic practices should really start getting eliminated. It should really start becoming value based from that stage. The technique of hearing the Shruti in one ear and ourselves in the other ear, the technique of reconciling these two is a very important part of music, which really will raise the standards of students right from day one if we can start doing that with sa pa sa. There is a I'm not trying to compare that any system is good or bad or something, because Carnatic music, in my experience, is the single most complete melodic system in the world. There is no doubt about that. And I say this very objectively because I have worked with so many different systems. I have a deep respect for Western classical, which is a fantastic system, but it's more harmony and other aspects come into. So when I say melodic system, I am talking only about those systems which are purely melodic, where successive notes are the order of the day and not chords and so forth. So from the melodic perspective, Carnatic music has so many aspects. Because it has so many aspects, it's all the more reason that we have to be extra careful. We have to be exponentially more careful about so many things. So it's very difficult for a Carnatic artist to balance out so many things. But fundamentals should never be sacrificed in chasing the big picture. So if we sacrifice the fundamentals, what happens? Only those who know the Carnatic idiom will be able to appreciate us. So students who are learning, if they are not able to hit a sa or a pa and be melodious first, then those who do not know Carnatic will already be eliminated as their listener set. And the question may ask, அவளுக்காக நம்ம இது பாடணும், நம்மளுக்குள்ளே நம்ம பாடித்தினா போகாதா, ஞானமாக பாடினா போகாதா, பெரியவாலாம் எப்படி தானே பாடிருக்கு, இப்படிலாம் நம்ம சொல்லி சென்டிமெண்ட்டாக பேசிட்டு இருக்கலாம். பட் பெரியவா வந்து they were pretty open actually. If you see Muthuswami Dikshithar, he was very open to Western classical music. He actually picked up a lot of things. So we cannot just make some cliched statements eliminating our own market by doing so. So these kind of fundamental things. Then when we talk of Sarale verses, சரளை வரிசை கூட வந்து நிறைய குழந்தைகளுக்கு வந்து மாயாமோளகோள ஸ்வதிதரா கரகர பிரியாலயா சங்கராபரணமா இதெல்லாம் வந்து பெரிய குருஸ் have debated and come up with their own formula. But Mayamologola has its own advantages. The advantages of Mayamologola is especially from the voice perspective or the instrumental perspective. It has different intervals between the notes. Sa to Re and Pa to Da is one interval. Similarly, Ga to Ma, Ni to Sa, these are all the same kind of Ekashruti, Dvishruti intervals. Then you have the interval between Ma and Pa, which is little more. Then the interval between Re and Ga and Da and Ni. Again, those are all different. So the student actually gets an advantage of getting his voice or his fingers to handle different intervals within that raga. So the great Purandaradasa came up with that formula, which is very, very good. But the disadvantage of that is because this interval between Sa and Re is so negligible. Students many times perceive it as only one note and they will be singing it in the same place. Sa Re, Sa Re, Sa Re, Ga, Ma, அப்படினே பாடிட்டு இருப்பா. So, Sa Re, the distance between Sa and Re has to be really established in the heads of the children right from day one. It's very easy to say this sitting on a stage, but in reality, I have actually seen thousands upon thousands children singing it in the same place in almost every part of the world. Sari, 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 gama, sari, gama, pada, ni, இப்படியே பாடிட்டு இருப்பா. So unless that care is taken from that day one, சரி 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 அப்படின்றது சரியாக வந்து நம்ம பாடலைன்னா அது சரி அப்படின்னு இல்லாமல் சாரியாக போயிடும். So the main thing is, this is one step. Then, Jantai Varisai has become a very funny issue in recent times because when I learnt music and I saw all the publications at the time I was learning, which was around late 60s, early 70s time, all the books used to consistently have Jantai Varisai as only one note per beat. Later on, suddenly some books started coming out with 2 notes per beat for the first beat of Jantai Varisai, which actually is totally wrong because a lot of students get confused by that. Sa, sa, re, re, ga, ga, ma, ma, it's always second speed. Whether it is Jantai or Varanam or Kriti or Ragam, Tanam, Pallavi, first note is only 1 note per beat. First speed is only 1 note per beat. Second speed is 2 notes per beat. These are fundamental things that students have to be aware of. Because many times இப்போலாம் ஜென்டை வயசில் கச்சேரி கொடுக்குறதுனால இது ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டண்ட்டாக போயிடுது. இப்போ முன்னே வந்து கொஞ்சம் வெயிட் பண்ணி தான் கொடுத்துருந்தோம். பட் இப்போ பாவம் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கு ஆனுவல் டேல ஜென்டை வயசே ஒரு குழந்தை கச்சேரியாக பாடுறது, இன்னொரு இப்படி பாடுறதுனால நான் இதெல்லாம் சொல்ல வேண்டியிருக்கு. ஸோ the main thing is it is always first speed for Jantai Varisai. These are all very easy things for teachers to themselves be aware and start training. Because why this becomes important is because of the exponential effect it has on the field. You have at least a few thousand new people coming and learning Carnatic music every year. And then you see you have a few thousand gurus who are teaching it. And then just see how many number of people make that same mistake. If there's so many people actually sing it correctly, then you are having an exponential effect of so much being right in this system. If it's not done, then so much is wrong with that place. Then Why I'm saying this other aspect is how to give the spuritam. Many of the teachers probably themselves it's totally the spuritam has to be understood, because spuritam, in my experience, is a very unique gamakam in Carnatic music. The Carnatic kampitam and the Carnatic spuritam are almost unparalleled in many other systems. Hindustani music has its own variants of this, but it's still very distinctively very different from Carnatic. When I work with Western classical musicians, if I notate this, if I do a piece, they'll not play it with spuritam generally. They'll just play it as straight notes most of the times. They'll have so many other techniques of playing it, but spuritam is not one of them. In Carnatic, it's a fantastic gamakam. Even in that, those who teach spuritam has to be from re only. The raga won't come. இதே மோகனத்தில் பாடித்துன்னா அப்படின்னு அந்த சதுஸ்ருதி ரிஷபத்துலேருந்து அந்த ஸ்பிரித்தத்தை கொடுக்கணும். These are all small things at the basic level. Advanced level, of course, gamaka changes. நின்னு கோரே அப்படின்னு பாடினா மோகனமே வராது ஆக்சுவலாக. நின்னு கோரே அங்கே எங்கே கம்பித்தம் கொடுக்கணும், எங்கே ஸ்புரித்தமும் தேவையில்லை, கம்பித்தமும் தேவையில்லை அப்படின்றதெல்லாம் அட்வான்ஸ் லெவலில் வந்துடும். அங்கே நோ ஸ்புரித்தம், ரே ரே கம்பித்தம் ஒன்லி தேர், ரே ரே கம்பித்தம் ஒன்லி, சரி கரே சரி சத சரி கபகரே சரி அப்படின்னு பாடிச்ச மோகனம் ஃபார் பெட்டராக வந்துடும். நின்னு கோரே இஸ் நாட் used as a direct application of this gente verse over there at the advanced level. But at the fundamental level, we still need to learn this and then only go to the advanced level.